am starting this year out, as I mean to go on, with a bang. A bang from an explosion. Now follow along with me here, because we are going to be reading some reviews which absolutely flame my favorite Nancy Drew games. You see the word association, the connection between those things? Bang. Explosion. Flames. Perfect metaphor. Perfect intro to the video. So yes, the premise is very simple. I will be reading and reacting to negative reviews of my favorite Nancy Drew games. Now, this topic may feel a little bit negative, but I don't want to hate on the haters. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. There are Nancy Drew games I don't like that other people like. This is all in the spirit of fun and jest and tomfoolery. All those jolly good things. So while I may say some negative hater things in this video, I don't mean them. They're not from the heart. They are only said in comedy and good humor. Now we need to establish what exactly my top Nancy Drew games are. What are my favorite Nancy Drew games? Well, number 1, Secret of Shadow Ranch. Number 2 and 3, these are kind of on an equal level. Message in a Haunted Mansion and Treasure in the Royal Tower. Number 4, Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon. And number 5, Warnings at Waverly Academy. So I will be looking for reviews of those 5 games. I've braced myself by my love for and confidence in these games. I don't think any of these reviews will shatter my faith that these 5 games are objectively great games. They have all my confidence. 6.6 hours on record, rookie hours. Try 34.5 hours in Secret of Shadow Ranch, and then I will allow you to have a negative opinion on the game. I feel like if you just play Nancy Drew The Secret of Shadow Ranch for 34.5 hours, you can't possibly come out of that not liking it. Exposure therapy or something like that. Game is okay, but the real killer is the tedium of getting Bob ready to ride. Open gate, turn. Open door, turn. Grab saddle, turn. Open door, go to Bob. Apply saddle. Lift stirrup. Tighten cinch 3 times. Click Bob. Click saddle. Click gate. Click path. Every time! You know, I say this is fair. I've played Secret of Shadow Ranch with people who have never played it before, and they find this process very tedious. I give you a counterpoint. That's called immersion, baby! This game sucks. Whoa, coming in strong, coming in hot. I love the Nancy Drew games, but this one is so tedious. Press X to doubt. How can you love the Nancy Drew games but hate Secret of Shadow Ranch? The daily tasks, the constant saddling and unsaddling of the horse, it's just too many repetitive actions. I'm sensing a theme already. Not only that, but if you don't finish in one setting, or take more than a day or 2 in between, good luck finding out where you left off with the puzzles and the clues. Again, you won't have that problem if you play for 34.5 hours. My simple advice to you. But yeah, I can clearly see that there are things that I like about Shadow Ranch that other people do not like. 0.4 hours on record. Now, can we say you've given this game a fair chance with 0.4 hours on record? Big ND fan. But this one is just already a big no after 20 minutes? 20 minutes? 20 minutes. A lot of judgment is oozing out of me right now. 20 minutes? 20 minutes is not enough minutes to give a game a fair shot. I don't know what they were thinking. The new inventory system is horrible. I think this person is just having a reaction to change. They're having that first visceral reaction when your body's just like, change is bad. And then you got acclimatized to it, and you're like, maybe change is not so bad. Most voice actors are just weird. Why is the horse guy doing ASMR? Now you gotta clarify a bit more. Horse guy? They're all horse guys. That's what you call a cowboy. I think they're talking about Tex, though. Other Nancy Drew voice actors have weird voices, though. Voice actors in Nancy Drew games are just weird. It's true. If you are a big ND fan, I ask you, have you played Shadow at the Water's Edge? Because I think the voice acting in Secret of Shadow Ranch will seem a lot more appealing after playing that game. And then the horse riding mechanic, again! That makes me sad. You didn't give it a good shot, I would say. I love Nancy Drew games, but I'm really considering leaving this one unfinished. Tedious back and forth, okay, we get it. The harsh punishments when being kicked out due to little mistakes, not a good thing for kids playing this in my opinion. Some of these people who say they love the Nancy Drew games, I'm like, have you played the Nancy Drew games? All of them are like that. All of them are like that. I actually think it's fun for kids to have a good old tee-hee to all these like over-exaggerated reactions to small things like picking an unripe vegetable. It's funny. It's goofy. Kids like that. Frustrating lasso throwing and horse riding test. To which I say, get good. Oh. This is bringing out a toxic side of me that should never have been let out. Oh no, is this video gonna cause me to get too heated? No, I want to be a balanced and sympathetic reactor. Okay, wait, this one's funny. Why can't I start a fire? I love Nancy Drew, but the absolute that is the third day had me so mad I accidentally quit without saving. That's vague. I wonder if it's the magnet puzzle, you know? Could very well be. I think there's a good percentage chance of it being that. I finished this awful game more out of sheer spite than any real desire to continue playing it. This experience has managed to sour me completely to the entire Nancy Drew game franchise. That's sad. I'm sad. But maybe the Nancy Drew games just aren't for them, if they don't like this sort of thing. I'm seeing some other things in this review that I'm like, I disagree with, but I'm not going to get too deep in the weeds. To retain my status as someone who is calm, and sympathetic, and free of judgment. Level-headed. Cool. At the very most, warm. Let's read a positive review as a palate cleanser. This game has two of the greatest and most tragic love stories of all time. Number 1, Dirk Valentine and Frances Humber. Number 2, Dave Gregory and me. Relatable. Let's see if I can bear the negative reviews. Maybe I should just be reacting to the positive reviews and going, yep, I agree with that. Worth playing for nostalgia's sake, or if you're a hardcore Nancy Drew fan, that's me. I'm hardcore. Cons, due to the age, the controls are clunky. The culprit/door are pretty easy to figure out. I think that's fair. See, they are being a very level-headed judge. I love the Nancy Drew games. Usually they take me between 5 to 8 hours to complete, spread out over a few days. This one, however, only took me 3.5 hours. There were hardly any puzzles to solve, and was mostly just point-and-click with character interviews. Now that is very fair again. It was one of the earlier games. They hadn't quite finessed the formula, but maybe that's partly why I like it. This one kind of, like this person is saying, veers from the puzzle format, which I like. I like that, and I like that the puzzles are more grounded in reality. I've talked about this before. I'm not a big puzzle person. I'm a big atmosphere and story person, and I love gossiping with my pals in Nancy Drew games. So again, another reason why I like Message in a Haunted Mansion and why they did not. One of the easiest and shortest Nancy Drew games. Unless your goal is to play it in one sitting, or if it's on sale for less than $2, I would not recommend it. I have replayed this game countless times. I have over 17 hours in it. I think it is very much worth the price. What is the price? 11 Canadian dollars and 49 Canadian cents. Someone do the math. Someone do the calculations with that. 17 hours, $11. Maybe I will be the one to do the calculations. I will be the math person. Okay, what do I even need to do? No, someone else has to be the math person. When I accidentally got to the positive reviews. This one was just in the middle of the screen, perfectly poised to catch my eyes. Nancy once again slunts and sleuths her way through the lives and delivers baddie, bussy truth. Yes, exactly. Out of all the Nancy Drew games I have played, this one is my least favorite. I love the concept, but half of the notes are basically ineligible, and there is an ineligible. There's no clear guide of what to do next. I swear this is the most times I have ever called George and Bess. That is unfortunate because they're especially mean in this game. But I think it's fair to say the notes are illegible. I think that's what they're trying to say. Ineligible is not right. It is simply... Sorry. That's not what I'm here to react to. That's especially mean of me to be like... And you don't even know how to spell. That's especially mean. Yeah, the handwriting fonts are bad. I agree with that. It's not a good game for people who have dyslexia. Or children, for that matter. Which somehow is the target audience. 3.7 hours in. Tried many times. I'm talking about the floor puzzle, the first puzzle, still stuck. Bug, apparently. Oh dear, if it is a bug, then that sucks. Also, that puzzle is just hard. It can be difficult. Unless you've got 17 hours in the game. But I think they might have got over it. It says 3.7 hours at review time, but 4.5 hours in record. Unless they spent an additional almost an hour trying to do the floor puzzle again. Which is, I can see why you wouldn't like this game. If you spent like over 4 hours just on the floor puzzle. That's rough, buddy. I know we already read a positive review, but I need to read another one. Yes. No, I keep seeing positive reviews that I love before I've even read the negative ones. But love the hallways. I love that. That's the only line in the review. The only thing in the review is being like, yeah, like twirling their t-shirt for the hallways, like screaming, standing up, cheering, hyping up those hallways. Gotta love the hallways, am I right? If someone in these negative reviews poo-poos the hallway, then I know I've got at least one person to back me up. Oh no. Been playing the old games I never played as a kid. Still love how nostalgic it makes me feel, but I really got annoyed by this one. Love the silly accents and characters, but god, I hated running around the hallways. Now, me and my friend have something to say about that. Maybe there's a reason they made that positive review. They were like, someone has to speak up on behalf of the hallways. I had high hopes for this game because I grew up reading the Nancy Drew series, and I love playing casual puzzle games. First mistake, thinking this is going to be a casual puzzle game. This is for hardcore gamers only. Unfortunately, the point-and-click mechanics were full of quirks that made this game unplayable. For example, when flipping through the pages of a book, you cannot exit the book unless you flip all the way back to the first page of the book. See, again, these games are made for hardcore gamers and patient gamers. Kids these days with your short attention spans, who expect to not have to flip back to the first page in a book to exit it. Many times the arrows indicating the direction in which to travel don't show up unless you hover in a very tiny specific part of the screen. Yeah, that is something you have to learn through multiple playthroughs. And I was looking through a few of these negative reviews, and a lot of people did mention that. The hallways. And yeah, that's valid. Again, people that I've played this game with for the first time, they always make that comment. Like, I've got to a point where I've played these games through so many times that so many of the critiques people are voicing in these reviews, I'm just like completely a nerd to. I'm like, I've never noticed that, but it's because I've played the game so many times. This person actually even acknowledges that. Note that many of the other reviews are written by people who grew up playing the games in this series, so if that's the case with you, then you might not have as difficult a time as I did. I don't like this era of the game where you don't have a cell phone, camera, notebook, checklist, etc. These kids and their reliance on technology, am I right? Navigating was awful and frustrating. I feel like every one of these has been like a reoccurring critique, and I'm like, yeah, that's fair every time. Also, I get that it literally has Royal Tower in the name, but the fact that most of the castle wasn't even interactive was beyond disappointing. I mean, I too would like to explore more of the castle. It felt like it had very little content in comparison to some of the other games. Yeah, again, these earlier games, they're not as beefed up as some of the later ones. I haven't finished the game yet, but there is entirely too much clicking. There is too much clicking in this point-and-click game. Also, Jacques is stupid. Agree. And I hate the layout of the place, and also Wisconsin. Take that, Wisconsin. Probably deserved. I've never been there. Maybe not. I know at least one of my viewers is from Wisconsin. If you feel like it, you can say some positive things about Wisconsin in the comments. You can be like the person who is hyping up the hallways in the positive reviews. You can be like the equivalent of that in the comments for Wisconsin, you know? If you think it deserves it. Okay, time for a positive review. Palette Cleanser. I warted game to work. My first and all-time favorite ND game. I first played this on a giant, clunky Dell desktop right after it came out. It was the day after Christmas, late at night, and it was snowing. The ambience was perfect. I love that description. It's so nostalgic, and it really just immerses you in a time and place. I wish I was there. I wish I was sitting in front of that clunky Dell desktop on the day after Christmas and it was late at night and snowing. Doesn't that sound just blissful? And playing Treasure in the Royal Tower! Played multiple other Nancy Drew games, but this one simply does not run on Windows 10. I've played Last Train to Moon Canyon on at least 4 different computers, and I've never had this issue. But it goes to show that people can have very subjective experiences with the games on different computers. So, you know, buyer beware. But I think it does run for most people, although it does seem a lot of these negative reviews are mentioning the technical difficulty, so it's obviously not just like a one-off thing for this person. So watch out if you haven't yet purchased Last Train to Moon Canyon. Familiarize yourself with Steam's return policy before buying it. Hold on. What does this one say? A word jumped out at me and I was like, what? At this part, you're just making sandwiches? Well, yet again, listening to pointless carols rattle on about useless information, you obviously didn't absorb enough if you think they were making sandwiches. They were making cheeseburgers. The setting was probably the best part about this game, and the story is set up with a myriad of interesting characters at the start. As you continue to play, however, you realize the characters are very shallow, and there's never really the level of interaction between them that you might hope for. Yeah, it's because they don't have a big budget. Also, the ending is jarring and leaves you wondering, that was what everything was leading to? What was the point? Which I think is a fair critique of the ending. My fiancé says you love to hate the characters, and they were all entertaining. That is true. That is true. They are very love-to-hate characters, especially Tino. Puzzles were decent. 7 out of 10 from her. How does it feel to have worse taste than your fiancé? Time for some positive reviews. Oh, this slayed. This slayed hard. Very rewarding game, and wasn't too hard for my small little brain. I felt so smart figuring stuff out. I felt like Nancy Drew herself. I relate to that highly. I would say this is my favorite Nancy Drew game. Bait Waverly Academy is too good, and Chatteranch is too iconic. Yes, you should say it. You are right and you should say it. And Deception Island is a masterclass in game design. Dang. Should I have said Deception Island was one of my all-time favorites? It's so hard to choose. I love this game though. Great atmosphere, great puzzles, great characters. I love Fatima the most. And Laurie's voice is ASMR. 10 out of 10. Laurie could for sure get it. She's hot. It says Jay played it for like 20 hours. Don't worry, I did not. It was more like 8 hours. Okay, bye, hugs and kisses. Thank you. Thank you for the hugs and kisses. That was so sweet. I love how they sign off like a grandma signing off like a text message. I'm just imagining this is like a text message I get from my grandma. She's like, Chloe, I need to tell you about that Nancy Drew game you recommended. This slayed. This slayed hard. I know, Grandma. I know. Oof. Gotta hate when a review starts off with oof, you know it's bad. If you're straight up 12 years old, and or want to feel like everyone's errand girl instead of a detective, I mean, the latter is fair. Do I have a Nancy Drew game for you? Played this straight off of Message in a Haunted Mansion. The difference was striking and not in a good way. Well, at least they're saying a good thing about Message in a Haunted Mansion, but why do we have to pit 2 queens against one another? The characters are forgettable, and for the most part, catty. It's true. I mean, that's the point, in my opinion. I finished the game not really knowing what the point of it was. Happy birthday, have a book? Like, I love Poe as much as the next lit nerd, but geez, I think they might have understood the ending. The point is that it's like a lost Poe manuscript. It's not just like a copy they bought at Barnes & Noble. It's like one that no one has ever read. The only other notable thing was the cello occasionally present in the otherwise forgettable soundtrack. No, don't you be dissing my man Kevin Manthai. Being forced to put up with contrived teenage drama, I just can't even. Well, now who's sounding like a contrived teenage drama? If you're looking for a mystery fix, do yourself a favor and go check out one of the 15 other Nancy Drew games actually worth playing. Well, now I'm curious what this person thinks the other Nancy Drew games actually worth playing are. I guess Message to Haunted Mansion is one of them. Ooh, now this review has a banger of a first line. I didn't feel the plot was very salient in this game. Ooh la la! Now someone's an intellectual writing a review for a Nancy Drew game, which I can relate to. I liked the setting and didn't hate the game or anything, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. There are better Nancy Drew games. Okay, I like them holding back the negativity, even if I disagree, ultimately. Who doesn't love Nancy Drew? Well, you, clearly, leaving this negative review. I appreciate how they stay true to the spirit of Nancy Drew. There's never a vulgar word, graphic content, and it never forgets who she is. God forbid Nancy say, I swear. If I have to do that science puzzle again, I will quit. Uninstall Steam. Done. I didn't think it was that bad. If you want challenging puzzles, this one has it in full. They just weren't quite to my taste, blarg, because the rewards for solving the puzzles weren't there. I guess it's fair, and they acknowledged that it was like a subjective thing. And again, my opinion is also incredibly subjective. Obviously, a lot of people disagree about my favorite Nancy Drew games. One thing I appreciate about Nancy Drew games is the fact that the endings tie the game together, pulling in the obvious with the small hidden hints that you may have missed story-wise. There's usually a twist and a turn with a nice seasoning on top. This I found utterly lacking with Warnings at Waverly Academy. No seasoning! No nice seasoning on top in Warnings at Waverly Academy? No paprika on top? Well, I disagree, but that's subjective again. I have quite a few more hours of this game than this person does. I've squeezed every drop there was to find out of this game. If you like to play an errand girl simulator, this is the game for you. I love all these people acknowledging this game is just about being people's errand girl. The minigames themselves range from passable to brain dead. The photography stuff is just a time-wasting annoyance. Well, same with the snack shop. Now don't you besmirch my beloved snack shop. They are fun for a bit and it gets old very fast. Listen, I could play the snack shop minigame for 10 hours straight and not get bored. There's many other better Nancy Drew games out there. If you want a school setting, Nancy Drew Secrets Can Kill is a great game. Now that's interesting, I really like Secrets Can Kill, but this is the first person I've heard say they like Secrets Can Kill better than Waverly Academy, because most people, I think, don't really like Secrets Can Kill, or it's kind of like meh for them. Instead of puzzles, you get high school level homework. Sure, I'll do your geometry. Sure, I guess I can create a replica of strand of a DNA for you. Not to say it's hard, but if I wanted to be doing homework, I'd be going to school instead of playing games. Goth girl is the only redeeming quality. You know, this is fair. It's very much you're doing everyone's homework for them. What do the positive people have to say? Hard, but easy. Oh, that's so profound. Before I wrap this up, I want to do a true palate cleanser and read a negative review of a Nancy Drew game that I hate, which is The Deadly Device. I want to read someone flaming The Deadly Device. I want to see it get absolutely ruined. I want to see a Steam review destroy it completely so that not even a crumb is left. Dumb. You know what? I don't think I could find a better review than that. Oh man, all respect to the people who gave these reviews. I think people who make reviews on Steam are incredibly helpful when you're deciding whether to buy a game or not. And I think all the negative reviews I read out had incredibly valid points for the most part. Except for that one person who thought they were making sandwiches in Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon. Sandwiches? Sandwiches? Now that's got me heated. Anyway, to balance out the negativity, why don't you say something nice in the comments, either to me, or you could leave like a positive, one sentence or longer review of your favorite Nancy Drew game. Thank you for watching, and if you hear a bang, that's just me approaching with my next video. It's hard to end videos, man.